Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari. Shudanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaura Haribo, 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 Gaura Haribo. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Shri Prabhupada ki, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki, Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam, Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai.
Small introduction. Hare Krishna. So we are very fortunate to have amongst us His Holiness Guru Prasad Swami Maharaj. He was short and personal. Maharaj was born in the US to a wealthy German origin family, and it was in the early 1970s जब महाराज ने न्यूक्लियर फिजिक्स पढ़ा. न्यूक्लियर फिजिक्स समथिंग जो अभी हम लोग सुनते होंगे पढ़ते होंगे इंडिया में शायद होता होगा कि बट in the early 1970s from Purdue University, Maharaj studied nuclear physics, and then he was transferred to the University of Texas because he was seeking spiritual depth. फर्स्ट कॉन्टैक्ट महाराज का हुआ इस बात से पनामा में 1970 में जब वो मिलिट्री सर्विस कर रहे थे. तो महाराज मिलिट्री सर्विस और लेटर ऑन महाराज जॉइंड द इस्कॉन डिवोटीज एट कोस्टा रिका जो हरिनाम संगीत प्रभु डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन करते थे. एंड आफ्टर दैट महाराज अटेंडेड द 1976 मायापुर फेस्टिवल. तो मायापुर फेस्टिवल वन लॉन्ग फेस्टिवल दैट हैपेंड आफ्टर वृंदावन. महाराज ने अटेंड किया था. देन ही लेटर टू द इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ प्रभुपाद फेस्टिवल. Maharaj has distributed Srila Prabhupada books extensively in the United States, Central America, and then South America also. He became the temple president of Costa Rica in 1978, and since then has been helping majorly Latin America and all of the different countries, Brazil, सारी countries देखते हैं वहाँ पर. 1982 के अंदर महाराज ने संन्यास लेकर ब्राजील में, और उसके बाद से महाराज निरंतर जगह जगह जाकर प्रचार कर रहे हैं. He was appointed in his governing body commission in 1987, और 1987 से अब तक यानी close to 40 years महाराज उसका ABC की सेवा कर रहे हैं. महाराज एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव सर्विसेज देखते हैं many different countries. India is a recent addition 2024 के अंदर, but उससे पहले भी महाराज मेक्सिको, सेंट्रल अमेरिका, कोलंबिया, वेनेजुएला, ब्राजील, ट्रिनिडाद एंड टोबैगो, एरिज़ोना, ये सब जगह पे महाराज looking after the GPC roles. And Maharaj is currently serving as the vice chairman. Maharaj was the ex-chairman. He is the ex-chairman, currently the vice chairman. And also everyone knows Maharaj for his humility and his personal examples. से महाराज बहुत सारे लोग को प्रभावित करते हैं. And he's been known for his classes and is speaking from the Shastra. We are very fortunate to have Maharaj amongst us, and we lovingly welcome Maharaj by chanting Hare Krishna.
Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna. So now you've heard all my upadis. Now you can pray that I can get rid of them. No. Hare Krishna. Actually, the body was born in the US, but my real birth was 1976 when I met Srila Prabhupada. That's the real birth. So I wanted to read one very beautiful verse spoken by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Rupa Goswami. And this verse and many others in this chapter, chapter 19 of Madhya Lila, are the basis on which Rupa Goswami established Upadeshamrita, many parts of the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, and his many other instructive books that Rupa Goswami has written. And especially, I'm trying to emphasize these different aspects of devotional service that allow the consciousness to be awakened. You know, the consciousness is awakened by the chanting of the holy name. You know. But if that chanting is not done properly, you know, just like sometimes we think when it says that Nam nam kari bahudani jasarva shakti tadarpitani amite smarane nakalaha. That it means that no rules, there's no procedure, but there is a procedure, but it's an internal procedure. So I'm trying to emphasize these aspects of the internal procedure that allow us to advance in devotional service. Especially here in India, Bharat, however you want to call it, no. There was a Bharat movement even when Prabhupada was here, but he still called it India. No. Bharat movement is more of a political thing. No. So, yeah, we're in Bharat. But Prabhupada did say it's Bharat Varsha. So anyway, there's a tendency toward a lot of rituals and traditions. And rituals and traditions are very useful, but they can also be very limiting, because ritual and ceremonies, etc., they have a mechanical aspect. And if we get caught up in the mechanical aspect and not the essential aspect, what is it supposed to achieve? What is the goal? And everything we do, what is the goal? This makes us thoughtful in Krishna consciousness. Srila Prabhupada said that one should be thoughtful and devotional service is voluntary and independent. Independent doesn't mean it's independent of Krishna. It means it is independent of things that limit devotional service. Otherwise, we have to go beyond these things. And of course, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, for that purpose, he spoke the Shikshastika, which is the extracting the very essence of the Bhagavatam for real understanding. Otherwise, if we're reading the Bhagavatam and we don't come to the conclusion of Shikshastika, then it means that we're just reading and not hearing, listening. Prabhupada said one time, there is listening and there is hearing. Listening means you capture some sound vibration. But what you do with it, that depends on if it just remains listening or if it becomes hearing. Because hearing, Shravanam, takes us to the lotus feet of Krishna. So anyway, this is a very beautiful verse. Srila Prabhupada also explains it in the 12th chapter of Madhya Lila, cleansing of the Gundicha temple in text 135. And I may refer to some of those aspects that Srila Prabhupada emphasizes in that particular verse. So, Nishidachar kutinate jiva himsana alabha puja pastidhari yata upashaktagana Nishidachar kutinate jiva himsana Labha puja pishtadhi yata upashaktagana. Nishidachara kutinate jiva himsana. Avapuja pastidhari yatu pashaktagana. Vaishnava. Nishidachara buddhina nikana. Lava puja pastidhari yatu pashaktagana. Vaishnavi. Nitachara Kutinati Jivahim Sana Lava Puja Prastidhari Yatu Pusakagana Siddhacha Kutinati Jivahim Sana Lava Puja Prastidhari Yatu Upasakagana Nishida Achar. Behavior not to be exhibited by a person desiring to become perfect. Kuti nati, diplomacy. Jiva himsana, unnecessarily killing animals or the soul. Labha, profit according to material calculations. Puja, adoration achieved by satisfying mundane people. Patishta adi, becoming an important man in material calculations. And so on. Yata, all these, upashakagana, unnecessary creepers. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Some unnecessary creepers growing with the bhakti creeper are creepers of behavior unacceptable for those trying to attain perfection, diplomatic behavior, animal killing, mundane profiteering, mundane adoration, and mundane importance. All these are unwanted creepers. So everyone can please repeat. Some unnecessary creepers growing with the bhakti creeper are creepers of behavior unacceptable for those trying to attain perfection. Diplomatic behavior, animal killing, mundane profiteering, mundane adoration, and mundane importance. All these are unwanted creepers. Purport. There is a certain pattern of behavior prescribed for those actually trying to become perfect. In our Krishna consciousness movement, we advise our students not to eat meat, not to gamble, not to engage in illicit sex, and not to indulge in intoxication. People who indulge in these activities can never become perfect. Therefore, these regulative principles are for those interested in becoming perfect and going back to Godhead. Om Jnanatipadandasya Gyanam Jana Shalakaya Chakshuru Militam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Vichaitanyamanopistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupakada Ahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So Srila Prabhupada begins his description of proper behavior by speaking about the 4 regulative principles. Of many times Srila Prabhupada said, these 4 regulative principles are nothing spiritual about them. It's just human behavior. So we can see that the general populace, even in India, of course less in India than other places, are not even human beings. No. Dvipadapashu, no, two-legged animals. So this is a great challenge. On the other hand, these principles, breaking these principles by mundane people, in one sense, there is a benefit. Because otherwise, as Krishna states in Bhagavad Gita, when one is situated in the mode of goodness, one has an overactive sense of well-being, personal well-being. Otherwise, if you're situated in goodness, so sometimes we find, especially in India, people think, oh, I'm pious. Or even in Western countries, oh, I'm a good Christian, I'm a good Muslim. No. They think, oh, I've already achieved perfection. So in one sense, when people have indulged in these unwanted habits, sometimes they can actually seek more sincerely the mercy of the Lord and not think that, oh, I'm already there, but you know, I'm going through the motions in this Krishna consciousness movement. You know, I'll try it. I'll look like I'm learning something, but actually I already know. One time I was flying from Mangalore to Bangalore, or Mangaluru to Bangalore, you know, as they say nowadays. And one man sitting next to us, he said, "Why are you dressed like this?" I said, "I'm an aspiring devotee of Krishna." He said, "Oh, Krishna, I know Krishna." I said, "Okay." So I said, "So you read Bhagavad Gita regularly?" No, but I know Krishna. So this is a problem. But of course, I'm not recommending we should go out and break these principles so that we can get mercy more quickly. But on the other hand, because many people do follow these principles as part of their culture, they can make advancement. But we have to understand, when we read these instructions of Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that we have so much to learn in Krishna consciousness. And if we actually understand Krishna, what does it mean to understand Krishna? Sadhavo hridaya mahyam sadhunam hridayam tvaham. That for a person who understands Krishna, a real sadhu, not an orange-clad sadhu, somebody who puts on some orange and has a beard and walks around barefoot and begs, no. That may be some kind of sadhu. But the sadhu referred to by Lord Vishnu, they can think of nothing except for Krishna. And reciprocally, Krishna doesn't think of anything except for them. Therefore, it is stated that Braja Krishna, he never leaves Vrindavan because he's only thinking about his devotees. Even when that Vasudeva Krishna manifested from Vrindavan Krishna, he's expansion of Vrindavan Krishna. But when he's in Dwarka, he begins to remember Vrindavan. And his behavior becomes very erratic. He can't get up in the morning. No. Some of you also have experienced this. No. But not for the same reason. No. For Krishna, it's not the body. For us, it's the body. The body wants to sleep more. But for Krishna, it's that he's remembering Vrindavan. And he doesn't even want to get up and go to the assembly hall or even deal with his wives. His wives were all complaining. No, Satyabhama, she said that, first of all, Krishna began calling out the names of the cows. So that I could tolerate, Then he started calling out the names of the cowherd boys. That I was wondering, why is he so, why is he deviating from me? I should be the object of his love. But then he started calling the names of Nanda and Yashoda. And I was thinking, this is very bad. But then he started calling out the names of the gopis. And this is unacceptable, for Satyabhama. And so, big dilemma in Dwarka. Everything around Krishna, everything that Krishna does is done in a very big way. And therefore the pure devotee of Krishna, like Srila Prabhupada, he said, my problem is I cannot think small. Because he's actually seeing Krishna. And he's seeing the unlimited nature of Krishna. Sometimes we want to see in our conditioned state, we would like Krishna to be limited. No. That you're very useful when you satisfy my desires. But when I want something and I see all these instructions in Shastra, then I say, Krishna, better you just, keep to yourself for now. And when I need you, I'll call you. So this is not proper. This is what I call jack-in-the-box Krishna. Many of you may not know this term, jack-in-the-box, but maybe they had also in India, a little box, and you twirl it around some handle, and it makes music, and then this clown pops out. So sometimes we have Krishna like that. Oh, I'm having problems. Krishna, Krishna. Then when this problem is solved, okay, Krishna, you can go back to Goloka Vrindavan. And when I need you, I'll call you. So we don't want, what is the emergency number here in India for police? Huh? 122. We don't want Krishna 122, we want Krishna 108. Always on the transcendental platform. So, Srila Prabhupada continues here. So therefore, Prabhupada says, if you can't follow these principles, you can't go back home, back to Godhead. But that doesn't mean the reverse. If you follow these principles, you will go back home, back to Godhead. It means that the possibility is there to go back. Now we'll hear about some other things. Now, as it says in this verse, that these creepers will grow along with the bhakti creeper. They actually become manifest, except for Jiva Himsa. Jiva Himsa, but the way that Srila Prabhupada describes it in the 12th chapter of Madhya Lila, in his purport to 135, it is a spiritual principle. So these are all things that will happen along with our bhakti creeper. So kutinati. Kutinati, or diplomatic behavior, cannot satisfy the Atma, the soul. It cannot even satisfy the body or the mind. We can see that in mundane politics. Kutinati Kutinati basically means I don't do what I say. I say something very noble, but I do something very different. This is the essence of kutinati. So this is the essence of mundane politics. It makes so many promises, but when it comes to fulfilling the promises, not so, when they can fulfill one is big announcement, but something that's really beneficial for the people, there's no big announcement because it doesn't happen. So, the culprit mind is always suspicious. Therefore, our dealings should always be straightforward and approved by Vedic authority. So this is a very important statement by Srila Prabhupada, that straightforward, sometimes diplomatic behavior is considered to be being nice. You want to be nice, have to, follow the etiquette. Well, the etiquette, here Srila Prabhupada is defining etiquette. That something has to be according to Vedic principles. And if it's not according to Vedic principles, then you have a right to extend yourself beyond the, external etiquette of this person is senior, this person is, we should always have respect. But respect, just like Prabodhananda Saraswati Thakur, He says, if you want to invite someone to practice Krishna consciousness, the first thing you do is you offer dandavats. And then you say, you are the most wonderful person. I've never found anyone with so many wonderful, beautiful qualities as you. No. And then the person, please continue. No. So can I just ask you one thing? Anything. Just forget about all that and surrender to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. No. So he said, this is our preaching method. So Prabhupada said, my preaching method is, I listen to what they have to say for 5 minutes. Then I understand what are their attachments, and that's where I put my finger. So this is called straightforward. Straightforward, of course, with devotees, we have to have proper Vaishnava etiquette. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu defined proper Vaishnava etiquette. Krishna Seva, Vaishnava Seva, Nirantara Harinam Sankirtan. That we serve Krishna and we serve the Vaishnavas. And how is that service properly performed? By constant chanting of the holy name of Krishna, Kirtaniya Sada Hari. So how do we achieve Kirtaniya Sada Hari? By being humble and by being tolerant and by respecting everyone and not looking for any recognition. So these creepers will not allow the Shikshastika to manifest in our heart. So this diplomatic behavior is very bad. Jiva Himsana refers to the killing of animals or to the envy of other living entities. The killing of poor animals is undoubtedly due to envy of those animals. The human form is meant for understanding of Krishna consciousness, atato brahma jigyasa, for inquiring about the Supreme Brahman. In the human form, everyone has a chance to understand Supreme Brahman. No. So, Srila Prabhupada, Jiva Himsana. Now, I just want to refer, now Srila Prabhupada gives this understanding of Jiva Himsa, a very different and much more spiritual, which is the same here. Let me just find it. I wanted to read it directly. So he just, the word Jiva Himsa, envy of other living entities, actually means stopping the preaching of Krishna consciousness. Preaching work is described as paropakara, welfare activities for others. Those who are ignorant of the benefits of devotional service must be educated by preaching. If one stops preaching and simply sits down in a solitary place, he is engaging in material activity. So this is a much more extended definition. So Jiva Himsa means if you meet someone and you don't preach to them, you are doing violence. And this is the greatest violence. Krishna has kindly given his mercy to us by the mercy of the parampara. So if Krishna puts us in touch with someone and we have the opportunity to say something about Krishna, then, and we don't do it, then this is Jiva Himsa. And this is great because this person had a chance to come to Krishna, to hear the holy name of Krishna, and I'm too busy with my material activities. I'm too busy. Sometimes people come to the temple, I've seen this, and we have some service to do. And okay, that's justified, you have to do your service. But if you ignore them, or you try to get away, they're going to ask questions. No, I don't have time. No, the very least, even if you don't have time, you have to go on the altar within 2 minutes. You say, let me help you. here, there is someone over here. You can ask them. I have to go, unfortunately. Otherwise, I would love to speak with you. Then you do your duty. Otherwise, that person may think, no, they don't want to tell me anything and go away. And then you've committed jiva himsa. So very, very powerful definition that Srila Prabhupada gives. Otherwise, we can see Srila Prabhupada's mood reflected in this. Just like one time, one devotee told me, he was outside of ISKCON, but an old friend of mine. So he was on an airplane. He sat right next to one very senior devotee, but he had a beard, and they hadn't seen each other in about 30 years. So the devotee, the ISKCON devotee, didn't recognize him. So he thought, I'll just play a little game here. They said, excuse me, you're dressed, you look like someone from India. No, I'm not from India. And so he said, well, what does this dress mean? It's just a way of dressing. He said, can you explain something about your religious understanding or something? I said, I'm actually trying to read something here. Thank you very much. And then he said, Hari Bol, Prabhu. Huh? He said, I was just hoping you would preach to me. Oh, okay. Well, I'm just trying to finish this book before I arrive. Okay, Jai Prabhupada. Jiva himsa. No, we have to be careful. Take advantage. If Krishna puts you in touch with someone, this is Paramatma in the heart, taking you, giving you the opportunity to become dear to Srila Prabhupada by giving Krishna. This makes you very dear to Srila Prabhupada. What to speak if you give them a book that makes you more dear to Srila Prabhupada? Because you may say something and they think it's nice and you speak for 20 minutes and then you go away and they go away and they forget about it. If you give them a book, then that book will be there in their home. So whenever they feel some distress, just like one man, one devotee, before he was a devotee, he got a book. He put it in his bookshelf. Then his daughter, like 10 years later, his daughter was having some problem with drugs. So she thought, let me try to find something to help me. And she just, by Paramatma, took her right to that book. She took out Prabhupada's book, went to the temple, and she was so fascinated by the book and the devotees and took some prasadam, she never went home. So the parents called the police and thought she was missing, maybe kidnapped. Police were looking for her. And finally she called home and said, oh, I'm in the Hare Krishna temple. So they sent her brother to look for her. And the brother came to the temple, she gave him a book, and he read the book, and he called home and said, I think I'm going to stay in the temple. So then the mother came, what's going on? And she also became attracted to the temple. And then the father said, I guess I have to go along with everybody else. And so just one book of Srila Prabhupada, one shot, 4 people. So this is the power of Sri Krishna Sankirtan. The so-called leaders of human society do not know the real aim of human life and therefore busy with economic development. This is misleading. Every state and every society is busy trying to improve the quality of eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. This human form of life is meant for more than these 4 animal principles. Eating, sleeping, mating, and defending are problems found in the animal kingdom, and the animals have solved their problems without difficulty. Why should human society be so busy trying to solve these problems. The difficulty is that people are not educated to understand this simple philosophy. They think that advancement of civilization means increasing sense gratification. So, I was once in Dubai, so I was waiting. I had an overnight flight, so I went out and I was, looking for some fruits or something to buy. And then I had a call of nature, so I went into a hotel. I looked like a tourist, so they allowed me to go in. They have people, don't want to, the riffraff. If I would have been dressed, wasn't dressed in a dhoti. If I would have been dressed in a dhoti, they might not have let me in. So anyway, so then I just went. I was thirsty, so I thought, let me get something to, some soda or something, some water. So I saw a bottle of water. It cost $40 US, one bottle of water. And so I just went into the restaurant just to look at the menu. The cheapest thing was like, some, chapati or something was like $50, and like a whole meal was like $500. So it was the epitome, the highest degree of so-called sophistication of eating. If I spend 1,000 US dollars on a meal, I'm very advanced. So, and I would say you're very stupid. You can go across the street and get the same thing for $5. But you stay in this big hotel. So the point is that people think this is advancement of life. Srila Prabhupada refers when he speaks about these principles in the 12th chapter of Madhya Lila, he says that that the dust accumulated within the heart, Chetodarpana Maharajanam, that can be cleansed away, is the whirlwind of economic development that stirs up the lust within the heart. Very beautiful. And so, economic development, we think, this is what I should do. But Srila Prabhupada and Varnashram recommends, yes, there has to be some economic development, but not, Srila Prabhupada says, like overextended economic development. Otherwise, more than you need. Actually, Srila Prabhupada in one class, I don't know what Shastra this comes from, but Srila Prabhupada said in one lecture that if you make more than 25% profit, you will meet Yamaraj. So business people can think about this. That means that make your 25% for yourself and your other 575%, give it to Krishna. Then you won't meet Yamaraj. So the point is that we don't need that much. So Srila Prabhupada was referring to some Shastra, maybe some, Artha Shastra that specified, why do you need so much profit? Unless you're doing it for Krishna. If you're doing it for Krishna, you can have unlimited profit. But if you're doing it for yourself, then 25% is enough. Why do you need more? You can get some cloth, you can get some food. How much space do we need? We need like 2 meters by half a meter. That's not space you really need. In Japan, if you go to Japan, they have hotels where, because they don't have a whole lot of space, you pull out, it looks like a coffin for a dead body. You pull it out, you get in, and they close it, and you have a television up here and a radio, and you sleep. So it's very efficient, and it costs a lot too. Not like, you think you're saving money. It costs the same as a hotel room. It's just that they don't have a whole lot of space. So I stayed in one time, but I was feeling claustrophobic, just stuck in this little box, for 8 hours. So anyway, there are many religious propagandists who do not know the ultimate problem of life can be solved, and they also try to educate people in the form of sense gratification. This is also jiva himsana. Real knowledge is not given, and the religionists mislead the general populace. As far as material profits are concerned, one should know that whatever material profit one has must be abandoned at the time of death. This is another aspect. Unfortunately, people do not know that there is life after death, and therefore mundane people waste their time amassing material profit, which has to be left behind at the time of death. Such profit has no eternal benefit. Similarly, adoration by mundane people is valueless because at death, one has to accept another body. Material adoration and titles are decorations that cannot be carried over to the next body. In the next life, everything is forgotten. So in one lecture, Srila Prabhupada said, so when this body is dead, no one cares for it. Of course, we, especially in the West, there's one verse, I can't remember the verse right now. Anyone remember that verse? Decoration on a dead body? Yes. Yes. Mandanam lokaranjanam. This decorating a dead body. And that doesn't mean, of course, in the West they do that. Somebody dies and they put some nice color and a suit or a dress, nice dress, and everybody goes and laments over the body. Try to make, they put a little smile, some glue or something here, so make it look very nice. But actually, it only serves to impress ignorant people. Vandanam lokaranjanam. To impress ignorant people. So, what is it referring to in that verse? Japas tapas. That you do unnecessary mantras for gaining wealth, or mantras for getting popularity, or mantras for achieving some material thing, or austerities like Hiranyakashipu, just to get a nice demoniac powers that you can use. Srila Prabhupada said sometimes politicians, they will do great austerities. But for what? For increasing their material power. Sometimes they may sleep like Rupa Goswami 2 hours a day. But what for what? Just for trying to control and exploit. So all these things, decorations on a dead body. So even if we decorate this body when we're alive, it's still decorations on a dead body. Srila Prabhupada, when he was speaking about Ashochanam Rachoshatvam Bhagavanam Javashase Katasumata Katasumcha Nanu Shanchi Panditaha, that Krishna says, what is the difference between a living body and a dead body? Prabhupada said it like this. And then devotees said, oh, dead body means one is dead. Prabhupada said, no, there is no difference. The only difference is the soul is present in the so-called living body. It is still a dead body. Therefore, if we decorate this body, if we're very interested, we are decorating a dead body. Of course, Srila Prabhupada did say, eat to please yourself and dress to please others. So we dress, we dress to please Krishna, which means we don't try to compete with Krishna, because nobody can compete with him. I was speaking about this last night. Subhasa, he's the best dresser. No one can compete. And he dresses like 3-4 times a day, depending on the pujaris. Beautiful night outfit. Nobody has night outfits like Krishna. We may have like nice pajama or something like that, but nice silk. But Krishna has beautiful decorations. No. And what to speak of how he dresses during the day? No. And some temples, they actually change the dress at midday, depending on how many pujaris and how enthusiastic they are. Or at least you put some fresh garlands. So who does this? No, no one does this. So the last paragraph, and then I'll stop. All these obstructions have been described in this verse as unwanted creepers. They simply present obstacles for the real creeper, the bhakti lata. One should be very careful to avoid these unwanted things. Sometimes these unwanted creepers look exactly like the bhakti lata creeper. They appear to be of the same size and the same species. And when they are packed together with the bhakti lata creeper, but in spite of this, the creepers are called upashakha. The pure devotee can distinguish between the bhakti lata creeper and the mundane creeper, and he is very alert to distinguish them and keep them separate. So Srila Prabhupada in his purport, he didn't speak about nishiddhachar. Because, why? It's obvious. Nishiddhachar. He did say in the first, he said, breaking the four regulated principles. This is nishiddhachar. So it was so obvious that Srila Prabhupada didn't explain it. He spoke about puja, or as we say, manadena, amanina. We don't want this adoration. We want manadena. If we want to respect every living entity. That is our duty. Krishna recommends that we see also Lord Kapila Dev that Suridam Sarvadehinam, that we should respect and see all living entities as our friends. Everyone has some friendship, but when friendship is purified by devotional service, then, or by the Swarup Lakshana in devotional service of surrendering to Krishna, then we see everyone as our friend. If I'm surrendered to Krishna, and Krishna loves every living entity and wants to, he loves them so much that he comes in the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and performs austerity. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu lives like a sannyasi, very strict, the most strict sannyasi, just for the benefit of the living entity. So this is the beauty. So I just in closing, I just want to mention how Srila Prabhupada defines some of these things in this verse 135 of the 12th chapter. So he says, if one desires to make a compromise with the Mayavadis, otherwise this is what Srila Prabhupada defines as Kutinati, an extension of Kutinati, living in a solitary place and pretending to be absorbed in the holy name. No. He said, so this is a compromise with the Mayavadis, and he is engaged in material activities. A devotee should never make compromises with non-devotees by acting as a professional guru, or otherwise pratishta, adi, wanting fame, adoration, distinction. Then he says, by acting as a professional guru, mystic yogi, or miracle man, one may cheat and bluff the general public and gain fame as a wonderful mystic, but all this is considered to be dust, straw, and grains of sand in the heart. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he cleansed the heart, first he did Chetodarpana Marjana. When he cleansed the Gunjita temple, he swept with a broom. And then Baba Mahadvagni Nirvapana, he took his own cloth and he wiped, taking out all the subtle aspects. Baba Mahadvagni Nirvapana means the influence, the unseen influence of subconscious karma. No. You have to get rid of that also, so it doesn't manifest. Otherwise, you chant the holy name, but then all these things start coming back in. No. Because you haven't shut the door. You have to shut the door of all these subtle karmas that have been accumulated through all these years. And then, Shreya Karya Vachandrika Vitaranam, then auspiciousness begins. Otherwise, devotional service will simply be a struggle. We think, oh, this chanting of rounds is so difficult because I have so many things to do, and therefore my chanting will be ineffective. Oh, this sadhana bhakti, I have no time for that. No, I have to get up. Just like I see, any of us see, we get up in the morning, some people are already going to work. And, they get up also, but not for Mangalarti. They get up for trying to seek out. Sometimes they're forced to do that. But sometimes they do it voluntarily because of, as Srila Prabhupada says here, labha, greed, desire, I want more. But when this labha, the only more you're getting is more suffering. Because everything you acquire, as Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, niryogam kshema atmavan. It's difficult to acquire something, it's more difficult to take care of it. And then if you take it one step further, it's even more difficult to give it up. So therefore, just like the story of the yogi and the rat who's eating his cloth, it's easier to tolerate the rat than the consequences of getting a cat, getting a cow, and getting a wife, and getting a house, and ahogri hakshatra sutapta vitaya. That all these things, so difficult. Of course, if you get a wife and she's Krishna conscious, that can be beneficial. If one needs that benefit. So one should do what is necessary to serve Krishna, not according to some convention. Oh, somebody told me I should be a brahmachari. Let me be a brahmachari because then I don't have to work hard. A brahmachari should work harder than a grihastha. If not, he's not a real brahmachari. Because brahmachari has to work 24 hours a day. Grihastha, he's adhikar, he has some license. Prabhupada said little license, not big license. He has some little license. Brahmachari has no license. He's constantly under the orders of the spiritual master and the Vaishnavas. So don't think the brahmachari is an easy way out. If you're working less than a grihastha, you're probably not a real brahmachari. Brahmachari is fixed, constantly hearing, chanting, serving, worshiping the deity, all 9 processes of devotional service, intensely. That's real brahmachari life. Anyway, that's another point. So anyway, these are some thoughts on this particular verse of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita that will bring us, if we avoid these things, it will bring us to the point where we can actually live the Shikshastika and be transcendentally enlivened. So I'll stop here. It's a little late, but I don't know if there's one or two quick questions, if I'm allowed. No, I'm simply a servant. Just 1 second. I have to put in my artificial ears. All the loud kirtans in India blew out my ears years ago. So you all must have iron ears. Iron men. I'm not that fortunate. Where the microphone has to be 5 times louder than necessary to hear.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
My question is, you said that engaging material life Mayavadis. Can you explain that a little bit more?
Yes, because Srila Prabhupada said, Mayavadis are actually, although they have some spiritual practices and discipline, because they, they cannot achieve the lotus feet of Krishna. Aruya Krishna Param Param Tata. They do great austerities and penances, but they can't achieve the lotus feet of Krishna. And therefore they engage in welfare activity. So Srila Prabhupada is basically saying, if you're simply interested in welfare activity without being interested in benefiting the soul, then this is like Mayavad. This is like a Mayavad consciousness. It may not be Mayavad, it may be, it may be a false conception of helping. But when we try to help people and we don't give them Krishna consciousness, then it's like giving milk to a poisonous serpent. It will just increase the venom. Otherwise, they're already caught up in material existence, and we're giving them strength to do more material activities, when by destiny, they have been given a difficult situation so that they can think, what is the purpose of life? Why am I suffering like this? So I will stop your suffering so that you can continue to enjoy material existence. So this is a type of Mayavad. Is that clear? Just like, I'm just thinking one example, that the story that Srila Prabhupada told about the boy whose aunt was very permissive. She let him do everything. Then because of that permissive nature, the boy got caught up in criminal activities, and he killed someone, and then he was being put to death. And his aunt was there crying, "Oh, my dear nephew, oh, I'm so sorry for you." And he asked the executor, "Can I say something to my aunt?" And so he called her over. "Yes, my dear boy." And he bit her ear. No. "What did you do?" He said, "Because you never gave me any discipline, then now I am suffering. Now I will be killed. So it's your fault." So a devotee can never do this. A devotee has to be very, very conscientious that I must do everything for Krishna. And to help someone means to give them Krishna consciousness. Of course, one time Srila Prabhupada was walking on Juhu beach, and some young boys came, and Prabhupada said, they were begging. Prabhupada said, "You give them something." But the devotee said, "But Prabhupada, you said if we give people who are not Krishna conscious, then they'll be..." Prabhupada said, "Yes, but because they see us as devotees, they will always be grateful. Because they're young boys, this will impress on their mind. And at some point, so Prabhupada could see, in this circumstance, you can give them something. Because it would actually be a lasting impression. But this is the transcendental vision of a pure devotee. Yes.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Thank you, Maharaj, for such a enlightening class. Maharaj, my question is, you said about Jiva Himsa. And so the greatest Jiva Himsa is not to give Krishna consciousness to others. So Maharaj, practically when we engage in preaching, so there are a lot of, let's say we have to meet with people, or maybe we have to reach them and all. So during these times, it becomes difficult to balance between sadhana and then preaching. Let's say I'm in a morning program and some new people came, and I have to lead some chanting to tell them about all these things, or I'm in class, or I'm meeting them personally. So my sadhana gets impacted. So how do I understand the balance?
You don't have to give them a class. You can just say, "Please come and sit down and hear." And if they don't have time, if you can wait for me, I'll take it. Otherwise, and you try, just takes 1 minute to give them some blessing and say Hare Krishna. No. So it's not that you have to stop hearing the class and go give them a class. You can invite them to the class. And if they don't want to, then say, well, please get something to eat and direct them to where they can get some Krishna Prasad. So if we take that much interest, try to give some benefit, try to give some spiritual benefit. Krishna sent this person. Not that we interrupt our sadhana, but we can interrupt our sadhana for 1 minute. No. Because somehow or another Krishna sent these people. No. Let me give them some benefit. That probably won't happen every day. No. Hare Krishna. So anyways, okay, one more.
Hare Krishna. Let's have my humble wishes. Thank you for the writing lecture. You told us that diplomatic and be straightforward, but sometimes when we meet people and they have different kinds of questions, so we sometimes have to be diplomatic in order to make them understand. So should we be straightforward and go from the Shastra, or what should we do?
Well, straightforward doesn't necessarily mean that I have to be lack some tact. There can be some tact, meaning I'm going to be straightforward, but in a nice way. No. Just like Srila Prabhupada, one time he wanted one devotee to be temple president. So the devotee came to in his room, and he said, "Oh, Srila Prabhupada, no, I can't really do it right now. I have so many things I can do." No. And Prabhupada said, "I want you to be temple president." I said, "No, Srila Prabhupada, I can't do it now." And Prabhupada said, "Oh, so I was thinking that you're one of my senior devotees. Therefore, I think you should take sannyas." I said, "No, Prabhupada, I'm not ready for sannyas." "No, I've been observing. I think you are ready to take sannyas." "No. I was thinking I will speak to your wife and she will understand." No. And he said, "No, Prabhupada, anything else, then you be temple president." No. I said, "Yes, Prabhupada." No. So Prabhupada used transcendental diplomacy, but he was straightforward. He wanted that. And so sometimes we can try, someone is resisting, and we want to tell them something that's beneficial for their spiritual life, then we're straightforward, but in a nice way. But also, Srila Prabhupada is especially referring to straightforward, meaning if someone has Mayavad philosophy, then we will be straightforward. Prabhupada said that my Guru Maharaj, he never compromised, talking about Mayavad. He said, I never compromise. And then he said, and you should not compromise. No. Otherwise, if somebody is saying Krishna is just, product of material nature, we don't compromise. No. Prabhupada would become like fire when somebody. So there were some Brahmavadis like Swami Tilak. Prabhupada was friendly to him because he wasn't insulting Krishna. He simply was absorbed in Brahman. No. But when they were Mayavadis and they somehow or another indicated that Krishna is a temporary personality or a mundane personality, then Prabhupada would be like fire. No. Then there was no question of being transcendentally diplomatic. No. Okay, I think we can have one more, but unfortunately I have to move on to the. Yes, Hare Krishna.
One should not recognize
then we listen to a lot of devotees that we need to plan for our retirement, we need to plan for our life till we leave on this planet. So whether is this kind of a unnecessary ritual that we want to that goes along with the bhakti kingdom?
Well, one thing is you having something to use in Krishna's service, and another thing is accumulating. So what is the difference? The difference is if you think it's mine. Like if I have some money, and I'm using it to serve Krishna, there's not a problem. But if I think it's mine, for whatever I want to do, then that is accumulating. So even if we have money, we may be multimillionaire, but we're using it with great discretion to please Krishna. And I take what I need, just like a king needs a palace, and a Brahmin needs a hut. So if I'm a king, if I have kingly duties, I may need that facility. Or if I'm a traveling preacher, I may need a vehicle. But I never think it's mine. I think this is Krishna's property. I have to take care of it. Just like Krishna's our best friend. So if you have your best friend's property, you will take better care of it than you would if it were your property. And because everything belongs to our best friend, then we must take care of it very nicely. The ashram, the vehicles, the facilities, everything. We care more than we would if we thought it was ours. One time, Tamal Krishna Maharaj, he sat down to give a class. There was one Bhagavad Gita, it was all, in pieces. And he showed the devotees. He pulled out his Bhagavad Gita and he said, "This is my Bhagavad Gita," very nicely. And this is supposed to be Krishna's Bhagavad Gita. We should take better care. This should be in better shape than my Bhagavad Gita. Actually, I recommend, when I was in Hungary some months ago, the Bhagavatam class, they brought the Bhagavatam from the altar on a silver tray, and put it down wrapped in silk cloth, and then spoke the Bhagavatam. Just to remember, this is not a book, this is Krishna. I thought that was very nice. I'm recommending that we do that. We can keep the Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, Chaitanya Charitamrita on the altar. Maybe not the whole set, but whatever book we're reading at that time, and we keep it. And then when somebody sees it like that, they won't take it like this. They'll be very careful. This is Krishna. It's coming on a silver platter wrapped in silk. Then we remember. That's why the deity is so beautiful, and so we can remember here at the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We could dress Krishna, in a gamsha, but then we would start thinking that, he's just some person. Like you go to some temples, the deities are not very nicely dressed. And you can see the mind will just think, this is not like our deity. I've had that happen. You don't, but when you see Krishna dressed like this so beautifully, and my congratulations to the pujaris, so beautiful, then you, this is the Supreme Person. Hare Krishna. So I think, okay, one of the Matajis, and then I'll have to stop.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for this wonderful class. When we were talking about Jiva Himsa, I got a question where when we are trying to maintain relationships with our friends and family, but if we try to preach Krishna consciousness, and then they kind of feel like we are arguing with them, and in order to maintain that relationship, we have to not preach Krishna consciousness at that time. So what do we do in this kind of situation? Because they don't really want to know about Krishna.
As Srila Prabhupada said, our duty is to approach them. The result will be given by Krishna. Our duty is to approach them. Now, one Sankirtan devotee, Navina Nirada Prabhu, he was in Rishikesh. So we know Rishikesh, you have all these big yoga teachers. So this is one big yoga teacher, had, some big ashram, famous. So he approached him with a book, and he said, no, I know you Hare Krishnas. So he thought, if I say one more word, he will reject. So he just started praying to Krishna. Krishna, if you want this person to have this book, please tell me what to do. So he smiled and he said, thank you. And he started to walk away. And then the man, wait a minute. No, let me see the book. And he took the book. No, because he realized, like you said, if I try to push this person, then they'll become angry, or they'll feel this person's bothering me. So we could, that's Krishna gives us the intelligence to see, but we should not avoid approaching them. We can always try to approach them, and if we see too much resistance, then you can always have a little prasadam. Well, please take this, and thank you very much. Maybe in the future, and many times they'll change because they don't want to be encroached upon. But when they see how nice you are and how you're responding in a nice way, they may change. And if not, at least they get a little prasadam or they hear the Mahamantra. You see, Hare Krishna. Okay, so I'll have to stop here. Thank you all very much for your kind attention. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Nitai Gaura Premanandi.
Hare Krishna. You are not really audible.
I'm audible?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. So, the devotees, I'm very deeply grateful to His Holiness Guru Prasad Swami Maharaj for coming here and taking out his time to visit ISKCON Gurugram. And we know that his association is very rare and very precious. And we are humbled, and he chose to spend time with us. And we offer our heartfelt thanks to Maharaj Ji and seeking his blessing. His presence is very crucial for us to stay focused on our spiritual journey and remember our real purpose to go back home, back to Godhead. We are thankful for Maharaj's time he shared today, answering our question and guiding us toward deep spirituality. We humbly request Maharaj to continue blessing us with his association again and again, so that we will not be allured by the material nature of the Lord, and we'll get free from the Putinati, Jiva Hinsa, Labha, Puja, Pratishtha. So we can only get it out by the mercy of the Maharaj. So we again thanks. So let's loudly chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra and we thank Maharaj mercy again and again. Let's chant loudly Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you, Rambhadra. Hare Krishna.
Swami Maharaj ki jai.